Yeah, you do. And I think we need to slow it down, because if you don't, we're not going to be able to get this house, okay? You're interviewing me, I'm interviewing you. Because not every client is somebody that we want to work with either. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are enjoying this brand new construction series that I am doing. I've really been trying to get all my notes together and really break down my brain into simple format for you guys. So I hope that you're enjoying the content. I know most of it is not as like fun or catchy, but guess what? This is information that you're going to be able to use. You're going to be able to go back to when you are starting your new home construction process. You may actually be at the beginning, you may actually be at the tail end of things, but if not, then this will also be a resource that you can send to somebody else that can help them with their new construction purchase, just new construction knowledge, period. If you don't know who I am Candace Spann. This is my channel. It's all one-stop shop for all things home and faith. So I am a licensed realtor in the state of South Carolina. I also am certified in interior design, and then also I have a calling to be evangelist. So on my channel, you can expect a whole lot about real estate. You can learn a lot about just my creative side. You may see different things in the background. And with my home accessory lines, I also sell candles as well. And then also on top of that, I infuse faith just in about everything that I do. So that's what you can expect on my channel. I just recently started a brand new series of new construction. I've realized as a realtor and over the past few years that new construction is where I've sold for years, and new construction is where I would like to remain. So I do feel like when I'm getting a lot of clients, not a lot of people know what to expect when it comes to new construction. So that's what I'm doing. You can go back on my channel, you can look back on my playlist. I have it titled as New Construction, just information, period. And you'll be able to learn all about new construction as I'm teaching it. So recently I shared about like, what is new construction? What does that neighborhood look like? What's the format of how the neighborhoods is laid out? And then the video before that, I actually talked about when was it a good time to buy a new construction house. I do believe that people assume that buying a new construction house, you can buy it at any time, which is true, but there also are great seasons throughout the year that you should probably look forward to buying new construction homes. So if you don't know about that, you should go back and look at that video. Today though, I'm actually going to talk about how do you buy a new construction house. I think in this video, I'm probably going to say new construction probably about 1 million times. I think I've already said it like 20. But at least you know that I know what I'm talking about. And I'm very excited to share this topic with you because I lived in one, I've sold with them, and I think they're really great properties for buyers, even first-time home buyers. So let's just get straight down into it. I have my notes here below, so of course I'll be looking down as I'm talking to you guys. But how do we buy a new construction house? So before I even get into like, just go straight into the tips, y'all, I'm gonna share 7-8 tips with y'all today. Let's just assume right now you are at a place in your life where you have saved the money, you have worked on your credit, you have now gotten to that place of maturity and readiness that you're ready to now buy a new home.
Congratulations and welcome
to the roller coaster that everybody had to take. When I tell you, trying to get to the point of you buying a new house is very nerve-wracking and also very vulnerable and very like mirror facing. It really exposes who you are, what you do, and how well you actually take care of your finances in your life. I recently had a client, they put an application, they got approved, but there was a lot of things that the underwriter had to go through with them during the approval process. And my client was like,
oh my gosh, girl, I did not know I spent this much money.
Yeah, you do. And I think we need to slow it down, because if you don't, we're not gonna be able to get this house, okay? So I do think that getting to that place of readiness, getting to that place of discipline, getting to that place of like, you know what, here I am, and let's do this. I want to say congratulations, because it takes a lot for some people to get to this point. So let's assume you have a credit score that's probably going to be higher than a 640. You're pushing into the 700s. You have some money saved into your accounts. You've been paying off your debts. You've been doing really well. And now you're at a point where you're ready to buy a new construction home. Well, the first step that you're going to do is you're going to actually look for a realtor. I know a lot of times people actually go out into the field, they start touring houses, they start going to look at things. Let's back up.
Savannah, slow down.
As TikTok says, let's back up. So the first thing that you're going to do is find a realtor. How do we find a realtor, you say? How do we find a realtor? Research. That's how we find a realtor. We're going to research and we're going to look up people in the area that you live in that sells houses or people that are licensed. So the first thing that you're going to do, you're going to research, and you can do that by looking at certain websites. You can do that by looking on social media. I know for a local market, Facebook is a great place to start because Facebook is like real businesses, real time with real reviews. So Facebook is a great place to start as far as looking for realtors. You start there. Once you actually research the person, start looking at the reviews. Start looking to see if they have a website. Look to see if they have systems and things in place, calendars and things like that. Because when I tell you, if you see a realtor's website and they don't have these things set up, that means that a lot of things will not be automated. They may not be as organized with scheduling. Things could be a little bit scattered. But look to see if they have a professional presence online as far as the website. Also, look to see how they manage themselves online. Sometimes
people can be a little too much.
And you don't have to work with that person. That's all I'm saying. So you do have to look at their personality. You got to look through their content to see if this is somebody that you feel like that can represent you really well. Not only do you look at the reviews, you research who they are. Ask your family members. You can always ask your family members like, hey, who did you use to buy your house? Who helped you or who brought you to this process? Those are going to be called referrals. And those are going to be the people that can help you work with their realtor that they use. So that's also a great tool as well. And on top of that, you want to make sure that the agent that you're working with is licensed. And when I say licensed, I mean like licensed in the state that they work in. So as far as for you can go to the website. It's a Labor Licenses and Regulations website. It's called LLR. And you can search up anybody's license to see if they're licensed in the state that they are in. I know in South Carolina we have the LLR website, and if you want to look up the realtor to see if their license is in good standing, you can do that too. So that's going to be the first step. You're going to find your realtor, research, reviews, referrals, get down to the T, look at their personal presence, look at the type of person that they are. Also be sure that you're working with an agent that also is big on education. I know sometimes that we see a lot of realtors put a lot of posts out there about what they're selling and how they were able to get this house closed and this and that, and they're a good negotiator. But also, are you a great educator? Is this person going to be patient with you? Is this person going to teach you about financing and incentives? Besides negotiating a really good deal, but are they going to walk you throughout the process so you're not misunderstanding the process as you get to the finish line? So that's going to be the first thing that you're doing. The second thing that you do is once you hire a realtor, so if you were to hire me as a realtor, one of the things is that I take my buyers through is I do a buyer assessment. I have a buyer's consultation, and we sit down, we have a conversation either via in person or in Zoom, and I get to know you. I talk about the process, I talk about the paperwork, I talk about what to expect, emotions and things like that. And I honestly get my buyers to the point of we're building this relationship. You're interviewing me, I'm interviewing you. Because not every client is somebody that we want to work with either. So you got to make sure that you're interviewing these agents, that this is something this is a partnership that you want to continue with. So after you talk to your agent, after you get to that point, the second thing that you're going to do is your agent is going to most likely push you to get a pre-approval. I know a lot of people want to start looking at homes immediately, but unfortunately, that's not how the process should go. And at this point, with the new real estate laws that we have set up, they are requiring agents to have agencies agreement signed, commission agreement signed prior to you actually going to visit these neighborhoods and going to look at these homes. So there's a lot of steps that we have to accomplish first before we can actually go looking at the house. Because once we look at the house, I let my clients know, look, I'm at that point where I'm trying to get you into a home, understanding the process within 30 days. And then at the point of just waiting until the end, that's going to be the house being built, you going through underwriting, etc. So number 2 is actually going to be getting approved. This is going to be you filling out the application with the lender, your assets, your 2 years of W-2s, showing all this information. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wait for the lender to get back to us to tell us what you are approved at. The reason why this is important to get a pre-approval first is because it can set the right expectation for you as a buyer. Because what will happen is, say you go out into the field, you go looking for these houses, but you don't know where you start and you don't know where you end. So you could be looking at a house that's too expensive for you, or you can also be settling for less. So it's really good to have a really great understanding of where you're approved at, and then what you can work with, what your budget is, what you can put down, what your savings is. This is going to be that relationship that you become vulnerable with your agent and also with the lender about what you can and cannot afford. And that's a very great step to have, as you know, when you're going through your process. So after you do that, the third thing that you're going to do is you're going to determine the house that you want, the community, the layout, etc. So this is going to be things as far as like, do you want a detached house, townhome, mobile home? Do you want to build land, 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, bathroom, garage, etc. This should have already been a conversation that you should have had with your agent as you're going through the pre-approval process, because you're interviewing me, I'm interviewing you, and at this point I'm learning what your needs are. So we're going to be discussing, once we have an amount, okay, in that amount, what are you looking at? What style of house do you want, etc. That's going to be step 3. And this is going to be very important because even with having this conversation with my clients, I get to know them. I ask them about what their needs are, what they like. I also do require in my process for my clients to be flexible. One thing about real estate that I've learned over time is that, unfortunately,
there's not going to be the exact perfect house for you unless you build it.
And that's just the reality of it. If you want a house to the exact T that looks exactly how you want it, you're going to have to build it. And if you don't have the money right now to put into a house to build it, then there will have to be some flexibility that's going to have to come about it. So maybe you wanted a 4-bedroom with a loft. Maybe you're just going to get the 4-bedroom. Maybe it's going to be a 1-car garage versus a 2. But you also have to have that conversation with yourself or with a partner, what your deal breakers are in the house and what you're going to sacrifice if sacrifice comes to a point. So that's going to be step number 3. Number 4, once we've done this consultation, you're pre-approved, we know what you like, we know your budget, now we can then actually go look at some houses. This is the fun part. And also this could be a little bit overwhelming for some people, I will say, because you'll get to see all these beautiful homes, you'll get to walk through, you're falling in love with it. Oh my gosh, I can see myself living here. Oh, I just love this. You're touching stuff. You're like, yes, my child will be perfect there, my dog, my office. You know, you're kind of visualizing yourself here. The thing about when you're going to see it, you also have to keep in mind with new construction, you're on a time constraint. Unfortunately, there's plenty of people every weekend. I was about to say hundreds and I was about to lie. God forgive me. What I mean is, throughout that weekend, there's multiple people coming in throughout that office throughout the week that's looking at these same exact homes that are available. So at some point with new construction, you will be on a time constraint. Things will expire. There's incentives on time frames. There's quick move-ins. There's houses that are finished. There's houses that aren't finished. So there's certain stipulations per house, and your agent should be able to communicate that to you when you guys are in the model home and going to be looking at these houses. So keep in mind, when you're looking at it, yes, it's the fun part, but also realize that, hey, you're going to have to make a decision while also having fun. So that's going to be step number 4. Let's talk about number 5. Number 5 is after you find the house, after you looked at the options, you picked it out, you got your home site, you love the house, let's write the contract. I'm going to prep you when I say this. A new construction contract could be over 30 pages long, and it's extremely long. And in this contract, not only are you going to be writing a contract between you and the builder, you're going to be signing off on your selections, the color selections in the house, your site plan. You're going to be signing the layout of their contract, the addendums, the closing cost incentives, the credits, the interest rates, the lender. All of that is going to be included in this one contract. And I think at the previous builder I worked for, it was like over 42 pages that you're going to sign. So pack your patience. When it's time for you to write your contract, pack your patience. It might take an hour for you to go through it. And then also, if you have questions, ask the questions as you're in the appointment. Don't let these new home agents say, oh yeah, just read through it, and then if you have any questions, let us know.
No, let's read through paragraph 8.
Because I don't understand what that means. Ask those questions when you are prepping to do a contract. Also, in the midst of writing a contract, there are going to be 2 different types of houses in new construction. So I talked about it in a couple videos back, but you have your spec house, which is going to be a finished home, completed. You know, you walk out into, to the neighborhood, these houses are done. all the options are in. They call them quick move-ins, right? Or you have those that are going to be to-be-builts. These houses are homes that are may not be completed yet. They may actually be just at foundation. They may allow you to add different design options. You can go to a design center. Sometimes you can even pick your own home site and actually build the house from the ground up. So they have different types of houses within new construction that you can purchase. Now with the spec house, when it's finished, you know that you're going to be closing probably within the next 30-60 days. It's because the house is done. They're ready to move you in. And at this point, this is going to be for you to realize, okay, the money that I have in my account, I got to be ready to pay my down payment within like 60 days. If you don't do that and you decide that you want to do a to-be-built, that will give you a longer time to save up your money, pace your finances, as I said in the last video, and then get to the point to where you guys can close the house later. And this will allow you to go through the build process, the inspections, and everything like that. So that's going to be step number 5. When you're writing that contract, ask those questions, figure out if you want to do a quick move-in, or figure out if you want to do a build, or figure out if they have one that's not done yet, which you could still add a little pendant light or a different color cabinet or something like that. Just ask the questions. That's the main thing I'm telling you in that step. Ask those questions. Okay, step number 6. Step number 6 is once you go under contract, you find out the home site, you figure out if you're going to do a quick move-in or if you're going to do a to-be-built home. Now we're going to wait. Aww. And this is going to be probably one of the hardest things for buyers to do is wait. At this point, in this waiting process, so many things could happen. You have the builders trying to complete the homes. They're going to be following up with you on the house. They're going to tell you week by week what's going on. Hey, we've installed flooring, cabinets, plumbing, electrical, etc. Right? But sometimes things happen. I've seen in new construction where they ran out of products. They had to substitute dishwashers. They had, say, a pipe bust in the house and they got to fix the pipe. They got to strip out all the drywall and do that. Sometimes during the waiting process, they have things like PTOs where the municipality may take too long to give permits to certain neighborhoods, and now you got to wait until the municipality give you the permit to build. So things like that could like be a part of that waiting process. But just know that with new construction, having patience is going to be a requirement, because unfortunately, if the house is not done, you just got to know that they're going to be going through a process to get it finished. And at the most part, they're going to do everything that they can to get you closed as soon as possible in the world that I've worked in. Besides packing your patience within step 6, I think that's really going to be the most important thing is just waiting and just understanding the importance that you don't want to rush these builders to get your house done quickly, because you don't want your house to be a piece of crap. And new construction material as is can be very, not as strong as you see with brick houses and houses, how they build back in the day. They are building really quickly, but let's not rush them to the point that, they're not doing things 100%. So after we finish up with step 6, which is going to be just the waiting process, not rushing these builders to get these things done, you're also going to be going into step 7, which 6 and 7 can kind of work together. So this is going to be like all your inspections, all your walkthroughs, getting familiar with the house. While you're waiting and while the house is being built, the builder will allow you to get the house inspected by an outside inspector. I always tell my clients, if they don't have insulation and drywall up, let's get an inspection prior to, because we want to see what's going on behind the walls. We want the inspector to tell us if they missed something, if they didn't strap the stud down, if something is wrong, we want to know. Also, after it's drywall, they've done the flooring, it's basically 95% done. They're going to have these walkthroughs called a PSD, either an NHO or a final walkthrough. So a PSD is going to be a pre-settlement demonstration walk, or they call it a new home orientation walk, which is called an NHO. This allows you to walk through the house with the builder and your realtor, blue tape, go through the imperfections. The builder is going to demonstrate the house to you. So they're going to do an orientation. They're going to teach you how to cut off your water supply. They're going to teach you how to cut off your gas lines, or something goes on in the house, because let's be for real, when we get into a home, we don't know how to do everything. We don't know how to pull the attic stairs down. We don't know if there's a flood, how to cut the water off. Going to this walkthrough is very, very important, because you are going to be responsible for this house when you close. You want to know how to take care of it too in the end. So number 6 and 7 goes together. So while you're waiting, you're walking through. And while you're walking through, you're getting inspections. And the inspections come back and you see what they need to fix. And throughout this whole process, the builder is going to be fixing and preparing to get you to the finish line. of the closing, which is going to be our step number 8. So let's just say that this process for you entirely took about 6 months. From when you walked in the door, we are now 6 months later. You had wrote your contract. You put your earnest money deposit down, which is going to be a credit at your closing. They start on the home. They finish building it out. You get your inspections. Everything is great. And now you're 2 weeks to closing. You do your final walkthrough, and now you are headed to the closing table. So what's going to happen is their closing transaction coordinator is going to send you an email and say, hey, congratulations, your house is done. We're now going to begin scheduling closings for you. And what they're going to do is get you on the attorney's calendar. You're going to prepare. The attorney's going to communicate to you. You're going to make sure you have your home insurance. You're going to make sure that you have all the understanding of if there's an HOA or not. There's going to be final addendums that you're going to have to sign. And during this time, let me tell you something.
You better not spend any money.
You better be saving money and paying down debt. You don't need to finance anything. Don't you buy a fridge. Don't you buy no furniture. When I say you need to be taking care of your finances at this time and live tight, that's what you need to be doing in this moment, because you don't want anything to jeopardize your closing before you get the home. Quick story. There was a client or a buyer in new construction a couple years ago, and they were so excited about the house. They decided like a couple days before closing that they were going to finance a sectional fridge and everything from like a furniture company. Well, they financed all of it, and guess what? It was a new line of credit, and these people were not able to close on their house because now their DTI was too high. You do not want to be in this type of situation. And this is why we always tell buyers, don't open anything new. Don't open any new accounts. Don't buy a new car, because this will now work against you and you will not get the house. And they're not going to say, oh, we understand. No, you didn't do what you needed to do. So yeah, so just be very careful. So when we head to the closing table, you did all your stuff. You didn't spend any money. Now you're ready. You get to the closing. The closing appointment typically takes about 45 minutes to an hour. The attorney is talking to you about your mortgage payment, mortgage insurance, HOA, all of this information. You're signing all of these pages. And then at the end of that, they dangle your keys in front of you and tell you congratulations. And at this point, it's going to be hard for it to set in because you're going to be like, I'm a homeowner. I don't really know. I don't feel like I'm a homeowner. It really is a simple process, and it's not difficult at all. And the great thing about it is after you close, you and your realtor celebrate. You guys will take pictures. Y'all go back to the house. You'll walk through it. And the beautiful thing about a new construction house is that nobody has ever lived in it. Nobody has ever sat in those toilet seats. And it's yours. So that is a wrap. That's going to be all 8 steps on how to purchase a new construction house. Now, I'm not a lender. I'm not a licensed lender or a loan officer. So I'm not going to get into too much of financing because that's not my role. But as a realtor, my job is to represent, protect the public, and share this information with you guys. And I do this with my clients. So if you are in the state of South Carolina and you are interested in purchasing a home, a new home, whether you want to buy, build, sell, or invest, I'm going to be the person for you. Once again, my name is Candace Spann. I work with CLF Home Solutions currently right now, and I'm located in the Low Country area. And I've been licensed, right now I've been in the real estate industry for about 9 years. My background has been new construction, and I absolutely want to continue that niche going forward. So hence for the video. If you're looking for any more information about me, you can find it at CandaceSpann.com. And also, if you want any information about my interior design side or my home accessories line that I'm starting, you can find that at AbundantLifeRestore.com. Any other time, you can find me on social media at _Candace Spann or _Candace Spann the Realtor. And I think that is all my handles with where you'll find me. But one thing I will do is leave it in the bio below so that you can find out more information. But if you are truly in the process of looking for a home and you're ready and you're at that point where you're ready to build and begin, contact me. I'll put the information below, and I want to go ahead and begin your home ownership journey. So I really hope this video has helped you and gave you some great information, and I really appreciate you guys for watching. Bye.